while I was there, I actually experienced the bad side of Bali as well, and found out that there is a type of crime that is very common in Bali, and unfortunately, I was a victim of this crime, and we'll touch on that as well. Hi everyone. Well, I'm back in Bali, staying at Kuta, which is close to the airport and quite central because there's a few beaches here that I'd like to detect. I'd like to go back to Padang, which we saw in the last video. I'd like to go to Sanur, which is the older area of Bali and has white beaches. And I'd also like to detect around here at Kuta. Apparently the sand is brown and yeah. So I went to Gili Trawangan, Gili T as it's known, which is a big party island. Unfortunately, I have been quite sick since I've been in Bali. I picked up a bug, I think, before I left because by the time I arrived in Bali, I had a runny nose and I had a cough, and I was hoping I'd be able to shake it off, but it just seemed to get worse and worse and worse. And of course, everybody's terrified of the coronavirus. So it's not pleasant sitting around people when you're coughing and spluttering. But yeah, nevertheless, my health really deteriorated while I was on Gili Tea, which didn't help when, you know, the weather just turned completely nasty and there was rain day in, day out with lightning and thunder and huge waves, massive swells, and the visibility just went to nothing, and it was actually quite dangerous and difficult to get into the sea. One of the things I did, you know, find interesting was working the coral. I did have one day of good snorkeling and was able to see the most amazing fish life, etc. Gili Tea is, those of you who've been to Gili Islands will know what I'm talking about. There's just an endless stream of tourists, mainly young people. I would say teenagers through to people in their late 20s. Who go there. It's known as a party island, but I don't really think it is much of a party island. There are a lot of bars, and there's a lot of restaurants, and there's a lot of beach clubs. But I didn't really experience any partying per se when I was there, although I did go in the off season. From a metal detectorist point of view, I would say that it's strange working coral. I don't know if any of you have any experience in working coral, but coral for some reason seems quite mineralized. I could not get my VLF machine, my macro cruiser, to work in the water when I was at Gili Tea. The coral there is mainly dead, and so I was confined to using my macro cruiser on the beach, which seemed to work okay. I couldn't ground balance it the way I do in South Africa at Strand and get the ground balance down to zero. Usually the ground balance was always up something crazy like 13 to 33 to, you know, it was just impossible to ground balance it the way it does in South Africa. But I was able to pick up stuff, and I tested it with gold and silver rings, etc. And I was able to pick up jewelry. Unfortunately, the beaches in Gili Tea anyway are just completely completely saturated with bottle tops and yeah, rubbish, really, just endless rubbish. In the sea, really, almost every available place where the waters has any depth at all is taken up with boats. There's an endless, you could really say the whole of Gili Tea, look, it's a small island. I think it's I think it's 7 kilometers around, but you can certainly cycle around the island easily in an hour. The whole island is really a working harbor, and so every 10 meters there's a boat beached or parked off the sea. So what happens is when you go into the water, and in the water I was able to successfully use my pulse dive, the Nocta Macro pulse dive. And again, because being a pulse machine, it doesn't eliminate iron, and I just found endless rusty iron and more bottle tops, more pull tabs, found one copper ring and some coins. And so in the time that I was feeling well enough and to be able to actually go out and detect, really I turned up nothing. But I met a lot of interesting people from all over the world, and I learned a lot of valuable lessons. So I brought that back with me to Bali, and hopefully we start a new chapter, and I've got about 10 to 15 days left here in Bali, and hopefully during that time I will be able to find some treasure. So here's fingers crossed, and hoping for the best. So I've moved to Kuta, which is close to the airport and Denpasar, and quite central. This is the room where I'm staying. It's only 100 Rand a night, can you believe it? Which is quite amazing. It's an aircon room, and it's my bathroom. But the most interesting thing is the outside, and particularly the one statue I thought was very relevant. It looks like a temple. I ate a lot of street food in Bali because it's so cheap and so delicious. This is called bakso ayam, sort of like a meatball soup, which I used to enjoy. Here's some early morning footage of Kuta Beach, which I detected at because it held some promise because of the brown sand. But when I got there at low tide, I saw that there's actually a layer of black volcanic sand underneath the brown sand. And that's probably where all the gold ends up and the heavy stuff that people lose in the sea. It works its way through the brown sand. And here's a satellite picture of that same beach, and you can see the brown sand ends. There's a layer of black sand and then the surf. And in the brown sand, I really just found aluminium coins, bottle tops, pull tabs, and foil. And so that was a great disappointment because my machine didn't work in those conditions. Buying some street food for breakfast. Nasi ayam for breakfast. With sambals. That's the hot stuff. There's my scooter. You just leave the helmet on the bike while you go to the beach. There's the entrance to the beach. So I'm down at Padang Beach. Sunset time. I came here to do a night hunt, so I was waiting for the other people to leave and proceeded to detect the beach the whole evening, even though my foot was extremely painful and walking around was very, very sore. And I'll show you a wrap-up of all the things that I found on this beach. Look at this cut on the beach. Very interesting. This could be amazing. Guys, here's a video of my finds from Monday night's beach hunt at Padang Beach. I found a ton of bintang bottle tops. I found a nice silver bracelet with real pearls, and that was pleasant. Typical lost keys, pull tabs, some foil, a lead weight, a US Polo Association watch that still works, which is was eyeballed on the beach, and here's some coins, sample of coins, ones that were not too rusty. That's 1,000 rupiah, which is basically R1, an Australian coin, Singapore money. 100 rupiah, which is 10 cents, 200 rupiah, which is 20 cents. There's a 200 rupiah. Yeah, so that's a typical sample of a hunt at Padang Beach on Monday night. Going to have some sushi. Yeah, I've just arrived at Sanur Beach in time for an early morning beach hunt on a beautiful day. Every Friday evening there's a braai in the parking area of Padma Beach, which is a suburb of Kuta, near where I was staying. And the food is free as long as you buy a drink from the bar. And it's very popular. Met some nice people. Hopefully, this is a new beach I've never tried before. Hopefully we'll get something here. Say hello.
Hello. A movie?
Yeah.
Movie?
And now for the bad side of Bali. Early one morning in the semi-darkness, as I was going to the beach to detect, I had my bag stolen off the handlebar of the scooter I was renting. And inside was my cell phone, my iPhone and my sunglasses, my South African driver's license, etc. And it became clear to me as I started talking to people about this that there is a lot of crime focused towards tourists. The most popular one being that there is bag snatching. They grab your bag. Even if you're riding a scooter, they will drive past you on their scooter, grab your bag, and if necessary, pull you off the scooter and drag you along the ground until you let the bag go. So please be aware of that when you're in Bali and take precautions. Yeah, so it was with a heavy heart that I left Bali. I learned some valuable lessons, and I'm going to make another video and share those lessons with you. At the airport, I was a bit nervous looking at this little twister that developed, but in the end, I got safely home. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe. Bye.